Hey guys, today I was thinking about why not make an incremental loop where we are not blocking the event loop. Well, with JavaScript right now, if you were to write a for loop or a while loop, the event loop will be blocked until the loop is finished, and then only after the loop has finished, it will be able to do other things. Well, the reason why I wanted to do this video was because recently I was working on a project where on a React application, we had to wait for a very heavy loop, and the user would basically have to wait for 2 3 seconds for the data to be ready to be displayed on the page. I mean, 2 3 seconds doesn't sound like a big deal, but at the end of the day, that's basically bad UI. It's bad user experience, and obviously, as developers and engineers, we need to fully avoid that. So let me just quickly show you what the problem is. Okay, let's just do for let console. I can't even type today. And then we'll just do another console.log at the end to show we have ended. Do we need one at the start? Not really. That would be the index 0 anyway. Console log ended. Okay, it's too slow. Just make it a bit short. Kill that loop. See, the end only happened right towards the end when we reached the 1,000. Well, this statement. So what we need to do is basically we need to make it incremental. We want to be able to tell this function that we're going to write, give us something every threshold, and then let us know when you're done. Hopefully that did make sense. So what we want to do is we want to write a function. Should we write? Let's just write an arrow function because we don't really need the this and the arguments and the prototype. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to have an index which will be equal to 0, and then what we need is, let's just write a while loop. A while loop, let's say, what should be the, okay, so we need to get the threshold as parameter, the array. Okay, so what we want to do is if I is less than array.length, what we want to do is we want to can't spell if I is less than array.length. What we want to do is, first of all, we need to do I++, and then what I'm going to do is, well, let's just do a shallow, because with objects, let's make another array, const new array, which be 0. This is where we'll keep track of the indexes or the items of the array. where we will push it. So what we want to do is we want to new array dot push array index. Okay, so that's that. What do we need to do next? Okay, now we need to use this threshold that we're getting passed, that's getting passed in. Okay, if we have index and index this modular of threshold equals to 0, then that means we basically reached this threshold that we will pass in. Okay, let me just do a console.log reached and index. Okay, loop. Okay, let's first make an array. Const a array dot from length of 15. So we'll make an array of 15 items and then we'll pass in the threshold. So okay, so we want to get data every 5 entities, right? Okay, so we want to get data every 5 entities and we want to loop over the array. Hopefully we're not breaking anything. Okay, index is not defined. Index is not defined. Okay, so we reached 5 and 10. The reason why we can't see 15 is because obviously arrays are 0 indexed, so the last element of the array is 14, so we've reached the end. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to do 2 things. We need to make this function recursive. What we want to do is we need to add a set timeout to call the function again, basically. Yeah, so what we want to do is we want to do a set timeout. It's going to be a function which is going to call loop again. The threshold, of course, is going to be the threshold that's passed in. The array, again, is going to be array that's passed in. Well, now we need to keep track of the index where we've ended, and that's going to be I. But before we do that, we need to increment I because we want to start from the next one, because the current one will already be done, and then we need to go to the next index. We need to start, so basically the recursive next call needs to start from the next index, not from the current index, because then we'll have 2 indexes looped over the same indexes twice. I hope that makes sense. And then okay, we need to get the starting index and we need to assign it here. So okay, so I equals to index if it's passed in, and if it's not passed in, give me 0. Okay, so that's that. And also we need to do the same thing for this new array. This new array would be, let's call it new r equals to, okay, equals to this. If I don't have this, if it's not passed in, then give me an empty array. Okay, so that's that. So we have threshold, we have an array. Okay, then we need to pass the new Okay, we need to do the new, and then we also need to schedule it after 0 milliseconds. So what the 0 milliseconds will do is it will push it to the event loop, and it will only be called when the stack is empty. Okay, so now we need to keep track of some sort of function. So we have the threshold, we have the array. Before the array, now after the array, let's do a callback, of course, to, you know, let us, why am I doing that? Okay, a callback. We need to call this callback right at the end where the loop finishes here, and we need to, this function needs to be a bit like optimized, I think, because look, we're passing in everything here. We need to have a bit of, then I'm just showing you how it's done, and then you can take your own time and do it. But anyway, okay, so now here we're gonna go do callback with the new array. And as the third parameter, we are getting data, and now I'm just gonna do console log data, clear the console, data undefined. Okay, we need to fill it. Dot fill math dot random okay, I forgot how to math random between two numbers. Let's just math.random. Let's just copy this function. Again, I wouldn't recommend copying stuff unless you know what you're copying from the internet. Okay, and this is just for a simple example. Math.random, I don't know, 0 and 1000. Okay, what's going on here? So we reached 5. Oh yeah, so after we hit the set timer, what we need to do is we need to break the loop, because we don't want to loop through every instance. We want to break it and then come back to it. Okay, so we reached 5, and then we have the data. Actually, let's, I don't know. What did I do here? Okay, we have, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 1 to 11 and 1 to 15. And it seems like we have all the data that we have passed in. Okay, and now we are getting it in incremental order. So now if I was to add a console.log right here and say end of file we should see it after the first batch of data that we get. So we get reached 5, we got the data, we got the end of file, and we get back to the loop. So we reach 10, and then we have data up to 11, and then so we reach the 10th, and then we reach the end, and we get the whole of data. And that's it, to be honest. We don't really need this function because we needed it to get random numbers, and now we have an array. We're doing incremental loop. We're not blocking the event loop. If you guys want me to apply this function to React and show you an example how it would work there without blocking the event loop, just leave a comment and I'll make another video using the same function. Basically a part 2 of this video, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Until then, thank you for watching.